Hey, everybody, this is Tim Shaw, and thank you for being a part of the show tonight. Where are you? Well, where the hell would you want to be on a Tuesday night? Seriously, seriously, think about it. You want to be at the Black Cat Lounge. The drinks are watered down, the music is terrible. Well, I kind of like it because it's like age disco. I grew up during disco. That's my excuse for everything. Anytime I do anything wrong, I live through disco. What can I tell you? It's what it is. But hey, we are where? We're at the place where the elite meet next to the dumpster transfer station. Isn't that right? That's the way we all hang out. And we have a great show for you tonight. A fantastic show. I would say it's an effervescent, iridescent show. I would say it's like two steps beyond cotton candy on a fall day. Because if it was a hot day, summer day, cotton candy gets a little nasty, and you get it on your nose and your glasses. It's not cool. But we have a great guest. But before we do, I just want to tell you guys. Last night, my buddy my buddy Joe at Paranormal Oddities. I always hang out there with him, and he's a great guy. They opened up the wall. They've been doing a lot of construction. He took over this whole other section. They're going to have this fantastic, fantastic area for teaching and for music and all sorts of little events. It's going to be great, beautiful. Well, I'm sitting there, and my buddy Frank Kupka from Buffalo Phantom Hunters and Joe are sitting there. All of a sudden, the two of them jump back, and they're pointing up. I said, "What are you pointing at?" He goes, "Something about 6 inches, 8 inches, like a shadow, blew over the top of you." I'm like, "Well, that's interesting." And, I'm going to be honest with you. You guys know Paranormal Oddities has had a lot of activity. I mean, there's always knockings on the wall, and there's stuff that gets thrown. I mean, most of us that hang out there have witnessed it. Well, all of a sudden, Frank and I were there to help Joe set up, the stage and get some things done. All of a sudden, I see like a shadow over the top of me, like it got dark. I look over. Joe's mouth is like it looks like the Holland Tunnel. I mean, he was just like, "What?" I caught about 4 feet of this shadow over the top of me when I looked up. Frank saw a little bit more, and this is what the review actually looks like now. But you can see up on top the gray area, and you see that there's lights. The lights just like shaded right out. I mean, seriously, the lights shaded right out. And we were sitting up in front. And I didn't know what to say. I mean, we were just like sitting there. But you have to remember one thing: that they blew out part of this wall. There was a murder in the place. It used to be a bar. Somebody got murdered in it, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on. Toss in before Joe was in there. There was a Rotten Jack's Creep Shop, which was like just like a goth horror shop. They blew out a brick wall. They had to take this whole brick wall out in order to create a passage in from the main shop to the venue. Hey guys, what's the most typical thing that happens when you do massive work like that? Hardcore work, because this brick wall actually goes all the way up through the building. You stir stuff up. Well, they stirred some stuff up. So anyway, that's going to be phenomenal. And the other thing I wanted to bring up real quickly, is the fact that Dustin Perry will be coming to the venue in November. And if anybody ever gets a chance to really hear Dustin speak, he's an inspirational speaker. He's a positive guy. He's one of the nicest guys in the entire field. Whenever we get together, I mean, it's just a joy to you know what? When I run into him in the Detroit airport, and and you guys know how much I love the Detroit airport. I've spent a lot of time in the Detroit airport. Whenever I see him there, we always have a great conversation. And if anybody gets a chance, this is going to be really something not to be missed here in Western New York. And I'm going to tell everybody out there right now, there's only, I mean, it's not a huge venue. Maybe they're going to have about 25 people. And if you want to have dinner with Dustin, they're going to have a little special thing after the talk. So guys, check it out. And it's not to be missed. It really is not to be missed. But anyway, I got to go, and I want to bring on, I'm going to be honest. And I told her before we went, I told her before we went on that I'm a fanboy. There's certain people that I've followed over the years, and I get a chance now in the position I am in right now to actually go and meet these people. And sometimes people disappoint. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes people disappoint. They may have had their prune Danish in the morning and whatever, it didn't work. I don't know what their problem is, but this lady did not disappoint. I was thrilled to be able to go and speak with her, and we're going to talk about the Ouija demonstration we did together. And the one thing I will say is, when the organizers contacted me and asked if they could add on something more onto my schedule when we were up at the Michigan Paracon, and they said this lady was going to be my partner in this demonstration, it was like, yes. I didn't even think, So I was so thrilled, so thrilled that I was able to do that. And she came on the show. I asked her, she jumped at the chance, which means that she might not be a little right coming on this show, but I got to tell you, I am so thrilled. She's the host of the Witching Hour. She's the author of Old World Magic for the modern world. I want to talk about that because there's a lot of things that, how eclectic I am. And she's also been seen multiple times, not just once, not just twice, multiple times on Ghost Adventurers. She's known as the White Witch of Hollywood. Yes. And she's as nice as that moniker comes in. Please welcome I'm telling you, I'm stuttering. I'm stuttering. I'm like a 13-year-old boy. You know what I mean? Please welcome Patti Negri. Patti, how are you? So thank you for coming on today. I was like, it's like I sat here going, what the hell can I even ask her? I don't even know what to ask her, because I'm like stuttering, And I always remember you were so kind to me when I was on your show, and I said, wow, when Rob had asked me if I would come on your show, I was like, are you kidding me? Yeah, because I mean, being in the field, in the field, I have known about you. And when he said, well, Patti, would you like to go on Patti's show? I was like, yeah, please, I'll take it. Whatever, it's what time is it? 5 a.m? I don't care. I'll get up. I'll do whatever you. So thank you for being on the show tonight.
Honestly, it is my pleasure. We were just discussing the Mutual Admiration Society. We need the big fan club badges right here, because I am an equal fan of yours and always have been. So now we get to be friends and we get to work together. It's interesting though, because I'm one of those West Coast of this business, and you're the East Coast, and they're crossing more and more. But it's a lot of times the Paracons, the East Coast ones, are the East Coast ones, and the West Coast, unless you're the A1 big star that they fly across all the time. It's like it took way too long. But
wait a minute. Here's the big star right here. Right here next to me, right over here. I'm just going
in this direction. I'm back.
You're right. Right. You're right. On the other side of you, those are the people that are listening. So yeah, they're all they're stars too. But yeah, you're right, because we don't get. It's so funny because a lot of times when I'm west, you're east. Sometimes when I'm in the I'm in mid states. You're in I'm down. I'm like down south. You're in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
it just finally the stars aligned, and I thought it was great. Now, Patti, the one thing that I have to put this up here because Debbie Emerson is a big fan.
Okay.
And Debbie is just phenomenal, and she's so happy to. And she had written before that she was thrilled to have met you. And oh my God, Laura here, meeting her was one of the highlights of the convention. I love her. Love is contagious. That is
Oh,
fantastic. That is just so nice. But
thank you,
uh,
Laura. Thank you.
oh yeah, oh Laura's she's precious. I'm just gonna tell you that she's just a nice person. Now, I'm a person that loves backstories. Now, when I was on your show, you grilled me and
Mhm.
you had my backstory. Now, we're going to turn the tables here a little bit
Okay.
because really, to me, it's always fascinating how people kind of stumbled on the path that we're on. Some people just kind of meander on it. Some people are traditional on it. Some people are brought up by families that are part of it. And then many of us, we see a sign saying, uh, we'll do witchcraft for a Subway coupon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how did you get involved? That this is I could again, this is what fascinates me.
Well, as far as the gift in doing what I do, I was born this way. I was talking to spirits since I could talk. I remember being a toddler and knowing that the creatures under the bed, literally, almost cliche, the guy in the closet, were real. They were real beings, entities, creatures, elementals that I could talk with, get real information. There was the good ones and the not so good ones. I had an obsession with the dead, but it was never morbid or dark. It was just, I like talking to him. So I literally did my first seance. It was just in the blood when I was 7 or 8 years old. I went in my little suburban house in the hall where there was no windows or lights and stuffed towels under the doors. And then I realized I didn't know any dead people. So again, this was the late 60s. I started Marilyn Monroe and John Kennedy, anybody I can think of who was dead. And my windowless, lightless hall filled with orbs and lights and shadows and things. And as Sherry Jones and I went running out, I was jumping up and down, going, this is real and this is controllable. So then I spent my entire life studying the occult, spirituality, physics, metaphysics, science, everything to take it down to this energy thing that I saw. But I always kept it really separate. I came into this field kicking and screaming. You have no idea. I was a Hollywood girl. I was an actor. I was a dancer. I danced with Gregory Hines. And though I had this whole magical side, that was you didn't talk about that back then. You didn't in that kind of 80s, oh, Shirley MacLaine and all this, yay. And then I discovered the pagan path and yay. But still, you don't really talk about that so much because I live a little more mainstream. And then I started a production company called Brain Brew Entertainment, and it was really corporate. I was producing big shows, mostly live over video, song and dance extravaganzas, where we teach motivation to the sales force or ethics to oil men via Ethics Jeopardy. Or again, this is my background, this performance background, but it was really corporate, and I'm like, these corporate people I work with, these HR departments, and I'm flying into Atlantic City or Vegas or New York, they cannot know that I talk to dead people and dance around bonfires in a cloak. They just really can't know that. So I kept it very separate. I never lied about things. I had the Hollywood side. I acted, I danced, I did bad TV shows, I did worse movies. But the witchy side was separate. And then in 2008, the corporate crash came. Everybody went down. Corporate entertainment became the dirty word of, just because of bad guys who did some bad things with like hookers on airplanes. Corporate entertainment became, no, we're not sex trafficking 16-year-olds. We're doing a motivational talk. What? But my whole business went pew, and I'm sitting there looking at an empty calendar. And at the same time, reality television was going pew this way. And I remember getting a call from a friend who knew my work, I was practicing and what I did. I work with people, but never publicly. And she was like, okay, Patti, we really need someone to do a seance on this TV show. Please do it. I know what you do. I know how you raise a veil. We really need you to do it. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I can't. Please, we really need you to. I go, no, I can't. I keep that part of myself private. Please, it's just a little show. And I'm like, no. And I'm looking at my empty calendar and I'm like, what? Well, what's the name of the show? And she goes, well, it is called Mobile Home Disaster, and it's on country music television. And I'm going, Well, nobody's going to watch that. Who in the world would watch a show called Mobile Home Disaster on country music television? Little did I know, everyone. I mean, reality, I had not kind of tapped into what reality was becoming yet. I had just started, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do it. And then I went. Thank you very much, Debbie. And I went, and I loved it. I got to do what I do. It wasn't acting. I got to be me being me, giving my message. Basically, I'm about empowerment. Take your power back. I don't care if you're witch, a psychic, medium, paranormal investigator. Grab your power back. You have. So I got to help this human little girl, and I got their mobile home, show them that there really was a portal on the ceiling where she had painted a portal. And I was like, I did my good deed. And it was fun. And it was 3 cameras, and they followed me around, and all my Hollywood background came into play. My improv and sketchcraft background came into play. And yet I was legitimate in doing what I do. And gosh, that was fun. But never again. Never again. I have this production company. I cannot do it. Fun. And then, of course, it aired. And I'm like, fun, but never again. Nobody's going to watch it. The next day, the next morning, of course, my biggest corporate client calls up. Hi, Patti. Hi. I saw you on TV last night. Oh, and my voice is getting higher and higher. I saw you on TV. Like, yeah. She's like, I didn't know you were into the paranormal. And I'm like, yeah. As my voice is getting higher and higher, she goes, I love the paranormal. I didn't know. And she was talking about, I even think she mentioned Ghost Adventures, years before I'm like, huh. Okay. I'm like, that's it. I'm out of the broom closet. I'm out of the psychic closet. I'm out of the medium closet. This was the most empowering, endearing thing I had done to date. It combining all my worlds. I got to feel good about my work, better than teaching motivation and proper ethics to oil men in a corporate setting. And I went, what am I doing? So then everything went up. I became kind of like the go-to person to call. I am sitting in the middle of Hollywood. I do know Hollywood. I know people in Hollywood. I'm legit at what I do. I'm good at what I do. And I know how to hit a mark. And I know how to talk in sound bites when needed. And I know how to look at or avoid the camera. It's like it. And I know how to raise the veil. So it just became, Nicole Richie needs somebody, you do it. Jeff Lewis, you need somebody, you need a pit boss, and the little people need some bad girls, you just do it. And I'm like, who would have thunk it that even doing the silliest shows, I mean, like Bad Girls Club or Beverly Hills Hillbillies or whatever, I'm getting to an audience and market I would never, ever get to. Even if I'm on Bad Girls Club, teaching these girls that they don't, little urban street girls who fight all the time, and we're doing a clearing at their house just to we see a little light bulb turn on in their head. It's like, you don't have to live like this. You don't have to do this. Change your perception, change your thought pattern, change your energy. And I'm like, these are people who would never come see me privately. They would never come see me at a mediumship gallery or any of my workshops. And I'm like, I love this. So all of a sudden, I don't have time for my production company. I still own it. I did one little tiny show last year, and I was just like, oh, okay. But I really came into this kicking and screaming. It's like, nope. The more you say no, it's like, But now it's like, yay, thank you, universe, thank you, spirits, for just like pushing me on through.
It's amazing because a lot, I can almost echo a lot of and mirror a lot of what you've gone through. I mean, my first seance was probably, I don't know, I was 9 or 10 years old at the children's seances through Lyceum, through the spiritual Sunday schools. And kicking and screaming is not, it doesn't describe, and I know you'll agree with this, it doesn't even describe a little tiny minuscule part of what it's like to come out of the broom closet. I mean, I got it because I was helping somebody, a folklorist, out, and I just happened to go there. And up until that time, nobody really knew what I did. And then I got outed out in the large local paper. Mm-hmm. And you sit there and you go, oh my God. And all of a sudden, it seems like the universe pushes you in all these different directions and opens doors for you. And what I love, what you said, was something that is so important. My mentor is a teacher by the name of Sharon Klingler. And the one thing she always taught me in advanced mediumship, which was a intensive class that I was never been the same after it, was always empower. Never leave anybody stranded. Never leave anybody the way they were when they first came to see you. Empower them. That's your job. Yeah, you bring through spirit messages, but your real job is to empower. And like you said, it doesn't matter how you do it. The venue's always there for you to find it. The universe will open it up. And you're right. These are a lot of people that would not see people like us, anywhere else. But I found that even my brief exposure on TV has opened up so many doors to people that definitely would not have really taken the time to understand what we do. And I think that's what the amazing thing is. Now, let me ask you this. I like doing, because witches, I love talking to witches. I love talking to witches. My little sister Marla's a witch, and I knew the late Ray Buckland personally, and I love going to visit my buddy Steve, up at, who runs the Buckland Museum of Witchcraft and Magic up in Cleveland, to see his collection. I always love coming up to see him. Traditions. Now, I know, like with Buckland brought a lot of what we consider Wicca to the U.S. I mean, he was a follower of Gardner, of course, but he changed so much. And then he actually left Wicca to start a different tradition. So that always said to me that, traditions may not be as important as many of us are taught. Now, I'm eclectic, that. I use anything. I'm the guy that's a chaos magic, anything that works. You too?
And me too. Anything that works. I'll steal from everybody.
No, it's called plagiarism, except you and I go and we actually cite sources. That's the difference.
Yes, we do. We cite sources. My friend Tim Shaw said that.
You're definitely in trouble if you quote me. But do you feel that it's important to start off in a tradition to understand the basics, or do you think maybe people should have a wider range, like a little sprinkling of stuff, just to go and to see where they stand?
I don't know if you need to start in one tradition. I kind of started with Wicca way back because, this goddess religion, and that's fun. And again, that was still a little fluffy. And then you go, look at Thelemic, look at ceremonial, and I'm so very eclectic in what I do. I don't know if you have to start in a tradition, but you have to learn something. It's great to be natural born, and it's great to follow. We want everything to be by intuition. It's great to follow your heart, follow your path. But you need a roadmap. And to me, whatever path you pick, or combination of every path you pick, is just so you can navigate life, navigate spirit, navigate the world. And you need something. It creates a roadmap. And somebody might need your typical Judeo-Christian roadmap. Great. Somebody might need your basic atheist roadmap. Great. Somebody might this kind of pagan, that kind of pagan, this kind of new age. I think because I was not raised with any religion whatsoever. My grandfather was a practically evangelical atheist. He came from Turkey. He was a psychoanalyst of the Hollywood set. He hung out with Isaac Asimov, Carl Sagan, Norman Lear. With Steve Allen was his best friend. Very academic, very sciencey oriented, and he wrote lots of books on religion and spirituality and sex. He was so ahead of his time. He lived with two of his wives at one time, and he was kind of ahead of his curve. But just anything with religion or spirituality was a weakness to him. So we didn't have God or anything like that, or spirituality of any form. But I would drive by a church or a temple or a synagogue or a mosque or a park and see this energy, and I'd want to go in. But we didn't talk about that stuff. And I was 13 by the time I was brave enough to ask my mom if I could go to some typical Christian church, just because I wanted to see the cute rock band, because this was in those days of the cute Jesus People rock band. It's like, there's this really cute band and the guitar player is so cute. I'm going to ask my mom if I can go to church. I mean, I almost would have felt less weird asking her if I can go to a rave or a disco or a practice or orgy, going, I'm going to go to church. And she was like, you could do anything you want to do. And I'm like, I could do anything. So I started searching. And I, of course, went to that Christian church and looked around. I thought, oh, I have half Jewish roots. Let me check that out. Nothing was quite hitting it. And then the evangelical, that was like, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go talk to a Buddhist now. And they're like, no, don't talk to a Buddhist. I'm like, what? No, talk to us about Buddhism. To talk to a Buddhist is a sin. I'm like, oh, that doesn't work. Okay, next, I'm going to go
Yep.
on. And,
Yep.
and then I think that whole Shirley MacLaine New Agey, and oh, this is fun, a little too chiffony, fluffy, and then the Wiccan thing came in. So, but all the while I'm studying, whether I'm reading Scott Cunningham's books or with Long Beach Women's Spirit, but I'm learning stuff, and then I'll start learning stuff from everybody else, and then I'm big at just throwing it in one big pot and seeing what works for me, finding your truth within. And what I do like about our paths, or the more pagan path, is it's not the you're right and I'm right and you're going to hell. I'm right and you're going to hell. I'm the only one right and everybody else is wrong. It's like, I'm like, you're right and you're right and you're right. It's just whatever template you choose to use. And my biggest belief, I go back again, other worlds. I've been talking to other worlds forever. Dead people are fine. There's stuff out there hard to explain for our little human brains, but the closest I've got to it is the ancient Sumerian belief system of where you kind of go to the heaven you believe in a sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, kind of Matrix more than anything else.
Yep. People don't get that. I mean, people don't get that. There's different expectations, different concepts, and it's all there. It's all right. It's everything is correct. No, there is no, wrong. It's just the fact that it's your belief system. And you just have to be open to it. Whatever floats your boat, whatever gets you through the day, whatever, at that last moment, that last breath, whatever helps you through that is what's right.
Yeah.
And yourself, being a medium, how many times have you had somebody come through and say, oh, I went to Valhalla, or something of that nature? It's like, well, yeah, we're taught Summerland, we're not taught, heaven or hell. There is no
figure it out, kids.
Exactly.
It's very much Matrix. But it's so funny because I read my grandfather's books now, and it's like, Grandpa, you sort of believe the same thing I do. You just use very different words. You use science words and academic words.
Right.
And even though you're saying there's nothing to that, if you just go to the energy below it, and I see energy, it's the same thing. You just put a different template on, that's it.
Correct. And people don't realize that it's the somatics. If you start going and doing comparison, you study comparative religions, you find out that it's just somatics, because you see A, B, C, D is actually Z, X, Y. It's just called different things, yet it all makes sense. That's why I've always had great luck being able to go and speak to so many people from different religions on so many different levels. And that's what I love about it. And
And human man misses up the religions along the way. But if you get to the original teachings and stuff,
exactly.
what God really meant there. Really? Okay.
I always tell people, you know what, guys, whatever you do, don't go and disparage anybody's religion. Don't do it. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, because deep down inside, every religion has something that interconnects with another religion, and there are some basics and basic truths. And we're going to take a real quick break, Patti. I'll be right back. We got to, hey, I got to buy some more material for my wife to make me more shirts. So we'll be right back. You're listening to the Black Cat Lounge. Where else? Here on Facebook, YouTube, and all points north and south. The Black Cat Lounge is sponsored by Paranormal Oddities, The Little Store with the Big Heart, Buffalo Phantom Hunters, Patronus Photographic for all of your photography and design needs, Nancy's Sewing Room, masks, aprons, purses, and more, and Wild Raven Candles for those magical times. And we're back. Tim Shaw here at the Black Cat Lounge, where the elite meet next to the dumpster transfer station, guys. Our guest is, I'm telling you right now, I could squeal in, like a little schoolgirl, because she's on, but I won't do it because we'll have all the dogs howling in my neighborhood. But she is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person, and just a great interviewer. And you'll all know her because she has fantastic works out there. So I want you to all welcome back the amazing, and she's effervescent, iridescent, Patti Negri. Hey, Patti, thank you for that little break. We were talking about some religions being so they're created by man, and man makes rules. I don't think that spirituality, there are certain yes or no things that we have to watch,
Right.
but I don't really think that man has to really concern themselves, because I think somehow, some way, we all find our way. And really, if we take the time to be quiet and silent, I think that spirit, will always talk to us and figure out what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. And some people need a belief system that tells them what to do more. They want to be
Exactly.
told what's right and wrong. Some people want to not be told what's right and wrong and to know from their heart. I do think a more open path, you really do have to have a sense of integrity, virtue,
Right. I
ethics,
agree.
moral code. Because if you go into the magical world without a good, not morality, like who does what to who, but moral code, you can get into trouble. But if you, as most of us do, have a real sense of integrity, virtue, moral code, it's magic. It's empowering.
Let's talk about that gray area. Now, I've worked with magicians, and I've worked with some magical traditions, especially the ones from, I'll be honest with you, the ones from Sicily and Italy. They can get nasty. I always remember my friend Onyx telling me, and she's Strega, and Onyx told me, she goes, I don't believe in karma. I believe I'm an agent of karma. And I was like, at that point, I was like, oh, okay, we're leaving the fluffy bunny realm. Now we're starting to talk about little things that can be a little bit more scary in the long run. Your opinion, please. You are a white witch. You primarily, I have two questions on this. You primarily work in the light. You don't really walk that really dark path. I got to ask you, first off, why, and secondly, let's talk about karma. We know that Wicca, they have the threefold rule, but I mean, a lot of the other places, the other traditions and other religions that I've studied don't have that. So it's like it butts heads. It's either white or black, and if you deserve it, you can go and hurt them bad. So
Right.
why do you follow just the whites, the white religion, the white side of it, the light of it?
And I do use the word good over white, but because you live in the world you create. You live in the world you create. I'm not judgmental, and somebody wants to work dark arts, great. But I've been able to do everything and get everything and create everything I want using good magic. Because again, whether it's the threefold law or karma, what you put out comes back to you. It's in science, it's called cause and effect, action and reaction. And everybody I know who will work, I don't want to send people hexes and curses, because that means I live in a world with hexes and curses. If I send out love, I live in a world of love. Everybody I know who gets too dark in their work, I'm not going to be judgmental, but they get cranky. They get paranoid.
Exactly.
It becomes the witch wars. It becomes I'm protection all the time. I don't want to live in protection all the way. I want to live in joy. And honestly, I've healed myself physically. When I've done my whole story, but by the time I was sick between 15 and 30. And by the time I was 30, I was told, if I made it to 50, which I probably wouldn't, because I'd have this cancer and that cancer, and I had a tumor in my head, and I have 5 fractures in my back, and I had all this DES exposure. If I made it to 50, you won't make it to 50. You're going to be in a wheelchair at best, because you have fractures in your back, because you have the bones of an 80-year-old, because of the DES. And I was a dancer, and I just danced, and I went, no, I'm not going to buy that. I'm not. I'm a witch. I'm a magical person. I'm an empowered person. So I said no to all that. I did what the doctors told me to, but I switched everything. It's perception. It's how you take things. I did magic. So at 50, instead of being dead or in a wheelchair, I I tried out for the world's largest obstacle course, Wipeout. And if you see it, there's pictures of me on the big balls. I did the world's hardest and hardest, scariest, most painful thing I've ever done, most empowering. But literally, the first thing they do when you get there is they tell you, if your mama never told you you're special, you are, because you beat 100,000 people to get here. That's your odds, 100,000 people to get here. Though my mama did tell me I was special. And then again, getting there, I was twice the age of the other girls. And I'm like, oh my God. And I did it. And when I was on all these big auditions, I wasn't going, oh, I hope that person trips, or I hope that person breaks their leg. I was going, you go, girl, you look good. And it was sincere. It has to be sincere. Mm-hmm. I'm like, this is so fun. Isn't this fun? And of course, all that light I put out shines on me. I end up on the show. And I'm like, again, once I got through, it was pain and great. It's so empowering. And I'm like, okay, this is fun. Okay, how else can I do magic, good magic. What is something I'm absolutely not right for? Cooking. They won't let me in the kitchen. My husband won't let me in the kitchen. I got kicked out of home ec in college. I'm going to cook for Gordon Ramsay. So I played the witch card completely. I showed up making Eye of Newt pumpkin soup in my cloak and my cauldron, but legit. And next thing I know, I'd beat another 100,000 people, and I am cooking on season 3 Master Chef for Gordon Ramsay, Joe Bastianich, and Graham. It was a beautiful disaster, but I do like beautiful disaster, and gone. So then I'm like, okay, and I beat another positive magic. I hope your chicken turns out good. I hope this. And then I'm going, oh my God, this is addicting. What is my next thing? What am I really not right for? America's Got Talent. I have no talent that would get me on America's Got Talent. Next thing I know, 100,000 people later, which you're at the convention center with 5,000 people in every city. I'm rolling on the floor with Howie Mandel psychically reading his dog. With positive magic, good magic. I wasn't there. I hope they don't get upset. You don't need why. Live like that. I mean, not that I'm the end all be all. I'm a regular human, but you live in the life world you create. I don't like paranoid. I don't like this. My best example of magic is what witchcraft is, what magic is, good and bad. The water flows down the hill. There's water on the hill and it feeds the beautiful village. So you have a beautiful village. They thrive because they have water. It comes straight down the hill. You build a house on the hill, but it's just down the way and you don't have any water. What is witchcraft? What is the spell working? You build a dam and you put in the pipes and you get the water. Now, to me, if you take all the water, all of a sudden the villagers don't get any water, they're going to die, or they're going to rebel, or you're going to kill the village, or they're going to come up and kill you. Karma. Oh, threefold, whatever, because you took all their water. That's bad magic. To me, that's dark magic. You're affecting someone else. But if I build the dam and I put in the pipes and I take water, I take all the water I want. I have water features and spas and pools because the universe will provide. We know that. And they get all the water they want. Everybody lives happily ever after. That's good magic. That's simple.
It's it's almost like the basic Reiki rules and laws. I know somebody that really had a monster living over the top of her in an apartment, and it ended up like this person was, a meth head, and the long story short, there was an altercation, and everybody got arrested. And this woman she is as Reiki as you're going to ever meet a person. I said to her, I said, well, what happened? I mean, when you were being taken away, I said, it wasn't your fault. She goes, all I could do is when I was in the car was send her neighbor Reiki, sending her love. And it ended up like things just worked out. The universe just worked out perfectly. And people aren't getting that. Too many people are wrapped up into the darkness all the time. And, and I'll be honest with you, there is a time and a place. I do feel for some things, pedophiles and rapists and bona fide murderers, that sort of thing. But then, to be honest with you, at the end of their lives, believe me, they've got a lot to answer for, and it's going to be a long time before, if you believe in reincarnation, it'll be a long time before they can come back. But people don't get that. Hey, before I forget, Colette says hi. And if I'm not mistaken, Colette just is recovering from surgery. So, Colette, just want to let you know that I've sent you healing, and it's just so nice to thank you for your during your recovery for tuning in. I appreciate it more than you know. But another thing that my buddy Witch Doctor too up in Canada, we were me. It sounds like an old joke. Me, my buddy Witch Doctor 2, we were sitting in a Chinese restaurant. Yes. And that's what we were doing. And this is what we're talking about. Needless to say, nobody would sit next to us. But we were talking about the efficiency of spell work. And he and I kind of came to the same agreement that sometimes people need to do their own spell work for themselves rather than to go to somebody to do it for them. Most of the time, it's usually negative. People always want, can you curse this person? I get that all the time. It's like, go away. That's not what we are. But, I think sometimes it's a great thing when people go and learn how to go and send that intention up to the universe, whether it's being cognitively reinforced through a spell, or it's just, you just believe in it and you start to manifest.
Yeah. I don't do anything for anybody. I insist that they participate. I completely, because to me, passion fuels a spell, whatever that is, all the workings and the this and the herbs or the oils or the candles or the chant. It's passion that fuels it. I will never have the passion that they do. I will have all the herbs and the oils and the chants and doing it, but you're with me doing it, even if it's on a Zoom call. I won't. I do something for somebody without them participating. I mean, I guess, unless they're, in a catatonic state and, I have that permission to do it. But no, I agree with you. Who's going to have that desire and will and passion more than that person who's wanting that?
Exactly. That's what you want. And a lot of people, I don't know if they're afraid of what they call spell work because of past, past beliefs or whatever. But I found that people need to go and, again, take responsibility for their own actions, whether it is good or bad, and really send this out. And we had a discussion last night about Paranormal Oddities about, if you have the drive, the ambition, and you have that goal, you have that intention that's set, you can do anything. You can do anything. And that's what's so important. Hey, let's talk about, because, this hour is like it's twittering away. That's the problem. And let me tell you guys, like, I saw Patti at the airport, and I was like, the minute I got a chance to talk to her, and I was like, and then we had to go, and of course we had to go and get on another airplane, and I'm like, oh my God, I sounded like an idiot. I got 1,001 things I got to ask her, So let's get to this real quick. When we were up at we were all up at the Michigan Paracon, we got a chance to do something that was so fun. We got a chance to actually work with a Ouija board while being inside of the world's largest planchette. And let me tell you something. I don't know about you. You're a little bit more limber than I am, but these 64-year-old knees trying to climb back up in through the middle of that hole. That was getting a little crazy.
You were so cute. I have to say, I have a photo of you crawling into it. I've never shown anyone.
Let's not show anyone that one.
I've never. No, I'm kind, but it's really cute. Getting into it. It was fun. Oh my God, this planchette was the size of my house. It was great, and we literally are up in the circle that goes over the number. There are little heads.
I do have a picture of it. Let me just run it up here. Oh, there we are. There we are. That's how big that planchette is. There's the amazing Patti. There's me, and behind us is Dean Haglund. And Dean Haglund, of course, was an actor that played in. He was one of the lone gunmen in the X-Files, and he was the guy that was he was the guy that was kind of emceeing everything, and he was hysterical because
She was funny.
he, oh my God, he turned around. The best part about the whole evening is when after we closed everything, I picked up the board and I was giving it to him. He didn't know, he didn't want to touch it. He was just like that. It was great. But what were, I love the fact, see, we work totally different, and that's what I loved, and it meshed so well. And you got it, and it was great because you did your opening and you did this beautiful invocation, and you did the closing, and you used the bells, and it was just fantastic. And me, I'm just like that hard-nosed guy that's like, okay, we're gonna get to the bottom of this. We're
No,
gonna
you
figure
were
this out.
beautiful and good. We did work together. It was like a beautiful little puzzle piece. Okay, ask him where this. Okay, ask. No, I'm gonna ask him where. You was like Jim was like, this is how you talk. Okay, it
The,
was great. I loved every second of it.
Now, when we were working with it, what was your impression of that board? Because now we were given this board to use by the owner of the Talking Board Society, and it was, I guess, it was sent to him, and there was a small testament that was with it, and there was something wrong with it, and I don't know if there was a story to it or not, but everybody kind of felt that there was some kind of like negative vibration to it. How did you assess it?
I didn't think it was. I mean, because again, I'm very trance state when I do this, so it's like trying to remember a dream. I always have to tell people that's like, wait, what was that again? Um, I just that's just how I work. I remember because the first thing we got wasn't from the board at all. It was somebody
Right,
hanging out at the casino.
right,
So
right.
that's what I definitively remember. It's like a gambling somebody with a gambling problem. Wasn't that? Yeah. So it wasn't off the board itself. We had opened the portal the way you and I do it together.
Right.
Um, yeah, that's the first thing I remember. What do you remember?
It was funny because it was like I remember the two of us, and I could feel both of our energies like really getting in sync. That was cool because
Yeah,
it was like because we had never worked before. We had just met each other, and most times it's kind of like a little weird,
yeah,
but
but
it
it was.
really got in sync, hardcore, and we started getting that stuff from just from the casino, and then the board started to really take off. And I remember even asking you, put your hand on there. Could you feel that vibration coming up? And we're in this casino, and yeah, okay, there's all sorts of stuff going on, but basically it's this, you know, everything is concrete, everything's reinforced, everything is soundproofed. I mean, it's done in a certain manner that you're not going to get these vibrations up through it.
Yeah,
And I thought, wow, if this was a table, this table would be flying off the ground. I mean, it's how strong it was.
yeah, completely. I do remember that. And I remember like thinking, I don't know if I said it or thought it just, if you guys who are watching this either live or on video could feel this, it's like,
It was, and then it was so weird because like as we're asking these questions, and I always ask a lot of yes or no questions because most of the time when I work a board, it's because there's a specific reason behind it. If I'm like teaching a class or whatever, and I love to ask questions where it starts spelling names out and stuff. And oh wait a minute, we did get a name. We got Alfie, right? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. We got Alfie, and as we're doing the yes or no answers, all of a sudden, like in my brain, because the little testament was like right off to the side, and it was like,
that's right.
is is the board affected? Is the board haunted, or is it the testament that's haunted?
It's the Bible.
And I went and I thought, wait a minute, and I remember saying, I Patty, just because it's a holy book doesn't mean that it can't be haunted. And I could see people out behind the cameras, their eyes got real big because I think I think they were afraid of like people coming down. And well, we did get protests by a Christian group, but that's that was outside. But
Ah,
and I remember, and I said, let's put this on the board and see what happens. That thing took off. Oh my God, that was like amazing. Like it was like, what it was like plugging in a new battery into like a device, and that thing just blew up. What I mean,
I just got goosebumps again when you said that it was in the Testament. I just got goosebumps again. Yeah, that's yeah.
I gotta say, it was an amazing demonstration, and
Yeah,
I was I'm so thrilled that I got a chance to do that with you, because
me
it
too,
really,
you. And then it got deep. It's like, oh yeah, this isn't a human spirit. What do you think? You think it's just
yeah, it was a little something more,
yeah.
just a little something more. And
Yeah.
and here's the thing: at the end of it, I, my natural inclination is to clear it, automatically. I mean, on the other side of this laptop, I have, you know, shelves of haunted objects. I've got all sorts of, you know, you know some nasty Civil War stuff behind me, and uh, I always try to clear it, but then I'm like, I don't know if I should clear this. This is not my board. It's not going to my house. And I remember I said, "We'll just." What do you say? And I remember asking you and going, "Do you think we should bind this?" And you're like, "Yeah, okay." And that was enough. And then I thought, okay, Patti and I are good now. We don't have to worry about nothing following us back to our rooms in this place. We have enough trouble with people following us to the rooms anyway. That's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother story. Yeah.
But yeah,
No, that was a brilliant idea that you had to bind it, because yeah, sometimes when people are the proud owners of a haunted object or a haunted house, the last thing you want to do, what? There went my income. There went my, like, sorry, want them back.
exactly. Unfortunately, that's the way it works. Now, let me ask you this: your book. What is the name of it is so important. I love the way it flows out, and it's old. It's like old magic for a new time. Did you feel that there was a reason that you needed to put this book out at that time? Because I know myself, and we talked a little bit about this beforehand. Uh, we are walking into some, into some muddy waters now. We're kind of getting a little, I don't know what. So we got to. What was the reason for that? Why did you write it?
I did, because we are all off. I mean, we're off balance. Our planet is off balance. Stuff we were talking about, and thank you, Laura. And I get, and again, the way I see energy, and I work elementally, and it's like, oh, you're off. It's your thought process. It's your emotions. It's your grounding. It's your, and it's great to go meditate for an hour, and I highly recommend it. As a rule, I have 30 seconds to pull it together. I have 30 seconds to get grounded, to get focused, to stop the chatter in my head, to calm down, whatever it is. And it's like, I came up with these things. Okay, use the elements. You could be a Christian and understand the strength of a tree and the flow of emotions of water and the passion of fire. You could get what that is. So what if we put that into using that basic scientific mind, body, spirit, or in witchcraft it's creation working dispatch, into easy 30-second things? How to turn your everyday shower into a cleansing bath with just a little salt, or with this, or on your commode, or carving something into your soap, to make, again, all about empowerment. The whole thing is about grabbing your power back and waking up. We don't want to go through life asleep at the wheel, zombies, phoned in, automatic pilot, all those sentences we use way too often. And this is about waking up and then having simple answers. I do remember when I started decades ago, I would buy books on magic or self-help or witchcraft or spirituality, any of them. And if they were too complicated or boring, I would sit them on the shelf, and they look really pretty. I have this book on the shelf. And then I'd buy something real simple and easy, like a Scott Cunningham herb book or something, and I would devour it. And I went, that's what I want. I want something little and simple, and I don't know where they are. My dog keeps eating my books.
You're like, you're as bad as me, Patti.
Look at, there's my book. It didn't come with that big dog chew in it. So I'm like, old world magic, again, tapping into the energy for the modern world. And I very specifically use tips, tricks, and techniques to balance, empower, and create a life you love. You are going to create it. Somebody else, there's not a pill for it. And I like the word tips, and I like the word tricks on purpose, and techniques on purpose. So simple little words, but well thought out. And again, it's about empowering yourself to create the life you want, period. And exactly. I thought we needed it now, and it has to be short, because I don't even want to see we're the MTV generation. That was 30 years ago. We're the TikTok generation in 15 seconds. We
Right.
are, you know, the
Right.
Instagram. So it has to be, a chapter has to take a minute or two for what this first book is. So I wrote it and then I looked at it and I go, those are your words, too many words. So I wrote to cut it in half. And that's why it's like a bestseller in like 5 countries, because it's simple. You could pick it up and read it. You could do build limit. Oh, I didn't need this. And like, oh, here's a section on weight loss. Easy. Here's a section on love. Here's a section on money magic. Here's a section on communing with the dead. Here's a section on how to do a dumb supper. You don't have to be a witch. You don't have to be a psychic. You don't have to be a medium. You don't have to be a paranormal investigator.
Right.
You just have to be human, or maybe half human.
Well, partially
yeah.
human. You know how that
I had to correct
that. Patti, we're getting to the end of the show. Tell everybody how they can get a hold of you. They can find out what's going on in the wonderful world of Patti Negri, how to get your books, where they can view you, because I will say that again, I should be wearing sunglasses because you're so effervescent. And and just what's going on in the world of Patti.
Okay. Well, everything locks down. You have my pattinegri.com is my website. And from that, you can get to, of course, Facebook, Patti Negri Psychic Medium. It is the one with the blue check because I've got more fakers than on Instagram. I'm Patti.Negri, Twitter, Patti Negri, TikTok now, Patti Negri. I'm with myparanormal.net, which is Rob's group. That's my new home base for my podcast, myparanormal.net, my paranormal network. It's the same people that do Ghost Adventures. And we are a hub and we're doing contests and giveaways and live events. We just piggybacked on top of the world's largest ghost hunt as a My Paranormal event. We were all over going live betwixt and between. We had Bridget Marquardt and we had Ding Hagland and we had all these people doing on top of that. So that, and I also have a network now because I had 2 extra minutes in a day. It's called paraflix.com, which is like Netflix, but all paranormal. Paraflix.com. It's a streaming service. It's like $3 a month, $29 a year. And if you like that sort of thing, which you guys obviously do, listening to Tim's show, watching Tim's show, original stuff, tons of original stuff and good movies, some spirituality, some, and we're growing and growing. We were just iOS and Android. Now we're Roku, and we're just getting Apple and Fire Stick. So it's good. Check out Paraflix, PARAFLIXX.com. And then I have a school. We just opened it last week. It's called very tongue-in-cheek, but a good literal kind of mystery spirituality school called University Magicus, MAGICKUS, universitymagicus.com, where I'm one of 3 owners with my vampire friend, Father Sebastian, and Nick, who I've been teaching with. And we teach many different paths, and we accept all. Again, we stay lighter versus darker, but it's still very open in paths, and it's not all butterflies and roses. So I'm kind of everywhere, and I'm every weekend. I've got Orange County Paracon this week. I've got Vulture City Paracon, Arizona the next week. The next week I'll be in Salem, Massachusetts doing a seance at the Vampire Ball. The weekend after that I'll be in Lake Tahoe for para something there. Next week I'll be in New Orleans for doing a seance for the Vampire Ball. And then I'm back in LA to do a bunch of nights with my YouTubers, TFIL guys. Anybody wants to check out the Cecil Hotel, you can. We're actually taking people into the scariest place I've ever been, Cecil Hotel.
And I'm jealous. I'm already jealous.
Come on down, join me.
But hey, listen, you know what? I'm going to actually reunite with my crush, with my celebrity crush in December, because the both of us will be appearing where?
Las Vegas.
Baby, that's it. I might have to get myself an Elvis wig for that one, just for that.
I have one you can borrow. I have a whole suit. I have like 3 or 4 white Elvis. I have a production company. Remember, I've got your wig. I've got your suit.
Now I know I'm in trouble. It's Para-Unity in December, and we're going to be in Vegas. Patti, I want to thank you so much for stopping by. This is great, taking the time, because I knew you had had the tape before you came on, and I know that you were on such a tight schedule. And for you to come on my show is a great honor. Stick around, kiddo, so I can thank you properly off the air. And again, You're the best, and everybody, when I
Mutual.
said you were going
Mutual.
to come on, I think there were several. I think there were several guys that I know that went. So I'm just going to tell you, everybody loves Patti. That's all there is to it.
I'm a good witch.
Yes, you are. Hang on a couple seconds. Hey, isn't she? She's lovely. This was one of my one of my favorite interviews. I'm stuttering. I can't help it. I'm a fanboy. Listen, guys, out there in the world, do everybody a favor, okay? Do everybody a favor. Please get out there and show a little kindness. I don't care. I always tell people that we're on this earth for a reason. And I know that, I was trained to do certain things, and they came to pass, and I understand why the universe put me in those situations. But I always said, you know what? Sometimes your goal in life is just open the door for a little old lady walking into a bank. So, guys, let's try to be a little more kinder to each other out there. I know the pandemic's still going on. I know there's a lot of political unrest and financial uncertainty, and there's so much else that we really need to kind of address. But if we show a little bit of kindness, one person at a time, just one person at a time, will make a big difference. So, guys, anyway, remember, tune in next week. We'll be here at the Black Cat Lounge. I am Tim Shaw, and where we meet at the dumpster station next to the wonderful transfer station, next to McGillicuddy's, and we'll talk about McGillicuddy some other night. So anyway, ciao, babies. Take care. Love you all. Thank you for being on.